You and Masan are the worst. You guys troll me so much when it comes to our map intros, more than anyone else we've had on to cast for StarCraft 2. But alright, where's this? Control Shift X. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, Game 2 in DreamHack Bucharest, Group 3 stage. This is, of course, Heart versus StarTale Life, and this is Rifkin. I'm casting with Doom and our guest caster, Complexity Sasquatch, who's got some, I guess, affinity for both of these players. But spawning here in the top left corner of the map, he's red, he's Terran, and once again, it's Heart.
His opponent, lower right-hand corner of the map, losing the first game, needs to come back and win 2 games in a row, take this best-of-3 series from StarTale, the blue Zerg player. It is Life.
I like how you always mention that Heart's red.
Well, it's like, boom, 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 boom. Like, it just goes so hand in hand. Like, it's so perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you need to, like, pulsate the camera when I, like, introduce him to, like, a heartbeat?
Oh, that would be sick. Oh my god.
If this goes to Game 3, I will absolutely try that. But Life, not only extractor tricking, but rushing across the field with his drone. Sasquatch, I look to you for insight, because what?
It just looks like a normal drone scout. It's too early to say he's gonna do anything funky. He's just checking to see if it's Reaper again or CC first. He could go for a hatch block, but I don't know why you would do that versus Reaper. He's probably just gonna expand, play normal from here.
Yeah, I think
probably. If I had to guess, he's gonna go fast gas because it's Reaper, so he can get quick speed and be able to fend them off very well. Try to go towards a decent timed third.
Yeah, I think he did a bit of a double take at the top of the ramp, maybe initially thinking it was a command center, and then going back to make sure it was a barracks, because a bit of an awkward pathing for the drone, but yeah, Reapers are so annoying to deal with without speed. I mean, you can sacrifice Lings, you can get a queen out, but even then, you don't exactly clean them up effectively.
Yeah, and he is going for the fast gas, so he's gonna get a very quick speed, which is like basically the best opener you can probably have versus Reaper, and that's what the drone's got allowed him to do. If it was CC first, he could have did something else like gasless or 3 hatch before pool, but going fast gas like this really helps a lot with Reapers.
Now my question to you actually, so there are some players who just, they make whatever when it comes to Lings. 4 seems to be the magic number, and 6 almost, in my opinion, is kind of over-exaggerating when it comes to dealing with 1 Reaper. What are your thoughts on that?
It depends if you want to send some of your Lings to go towards his natural and try to deal with the CC. Lots of people will try to sneak some Lings past the Reaper from the natural larva and use that to try to cancel or kill the SAV that's building the CC. But otherwise, if you're just using them for defense, then 4 is probably the magic number, yeah.
Cool. So I'm not the worst Zerg caster in the world. Good to know. Yeah, Reaper gonna get on in here. Gonna be a little irritating. Of course, these Force 4 Lings that come out, they'll be able to kind of drive him back, but they're not gonna really be able to shut this Reaper down unless he makes some big mistake and puts it in the mineral line.
Very peculiar bunker placement here from Heart. It's not in range of the hatchery, it's just in range of the choke. So I'm curious if this is going to be to prevent creep spread further in the game, or what exactly his plans are with this.
I mean, normally the bunker is just like a healing hut, if anything.
Yeah, he might do another bunker a little bit more forward now, but more likely it's just going to be to contain him for a bit and use it to deter creep.
Well, we got the Dancing Reapers. There is the queen out in the field. Now, of course, you could start trading with it, but really, like, you want 3 Reapers if you want to effectively kill a queen and not have to worry about over-microing. But, of course, 2 Reapers can get the job done if you put enough control into it. Some really nice dancing here out of Life as well. I want to point out, only losing 1 Ling so far.
His objective
like
here is
said,
definitely... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's like a healing hut, this bunker. He's just basically going back to it whenever he wants to keep them safe. And also, speed is almost done, so it's definitely... If he didn't have that, the Reapers could be caught out on the middle of the map.
I'm sorry.
It looks like he's going to treat anyway.
On stream, this only happens on Belshire. The graphics get broken on me, and, like, I don't know what's going on right now, but the map is, like, oozing across the natural StarTale line. What the hell? Bunker is gonna get salvaged, my, like, weird computer aside. I swear it only ever happens on Belshire, too. It's really weird seeing that happen.
Sunlight. Looks like sunlight sneaking through.
Yeah, that black sunlight coming through the cliff face there. I don't know. It's casting shadows, too. Like, I don't understand.
Well, same opener coming here from Heart across the field. Going to be that Hellion Banshee style. It's peculiar to see this when, you know, Bio Widowmine is so favored in the matchup these days, but that seems like a very predictable way to play. And if I know Heart, he's very inclined to do a lot of 1-base all-ins back in the day, but of course, he's transitioned more into like these 2-base, very powerful macro pushes, which as we saw last game, are very effective against someone who goes for this roach-based compositions. But we'll see what type of composition Life will be aiming for here, or angling for, I should say, because he's got those 2 evolution chambers done. About to drop his third base down as well.
This is kind of cool. I like this too. Like, a lot of the metagame does circle around back, but this is just going straight back to Wings of Liberty, where you start to see a lot of Hellion Banshee openers making their way back up into this matchup. I mean, as you stated, Biomine's so typical. If you really want to go for something different, this is kind of that best second option.
And this
he's
feels
only
Life.
Yeah, he's only committing to 1 Banshee here, so this is definitely just a safety Banshee. And then he's just going fast third behind it and going back into fast stim and such. So it's to put on a little bit of pressure and make sure he's safe versus any kind of shenanigans Life can put on.
Yeah, if roaches come across, you got 8 of them at your base, and your opponent's on 2, well, hey, the Banshee will definitely keep you in that game. But 3 Queens are coming, and with 6 Hellion Reapers and a Banshee, these 3 Queens are actually in a lot of danger.
Whoa.
Only enough transfuse for 1.
Transfusion.
Second one.
He's focusing though. Yeah, wow, he just got.
I can't believe that
Just
Hellion.
energy for transfusion, like right as soon as that attack was
Yeah.
hitting right there.
And that Hellion,
Life,
6 health, man. Not too shabby either.
Life threw a run by of a couple links trying to get by in the event that the wall wasn't up, but the bunker did deter that there. And back at home, Hart is adding on a third base, just about to complete now, and he's transitioning, as Sasquatch said earlier, into that bio style. So this, I was going to say before, this feels a lot like Life now going for these melee upgrades. I know he's really known for that, his insane Ling and Bane control, especially against Widow Mines when they were first introduced into Heart of the Swarm. So I'm assuming he's going to try to take control in that aspect of the game, try to get this third base established, and really make his macro work for him.
Yeah, and his layer's done now, so I think he's going to drop a Spire. Yeah, there it goes. And this is actually a really quick Spire, sub 10 minutes. So this is actually going to be a very good way to put on pressure against Hart. It's going to be hard for him to take his third, potentially, and maintain it if Life decides to be aggressive. But I think Life is going to prioritize droning his third down first, but he's going to have a lot of mutants very quickly.
I also feel a little bad for that Viking. It did get made, and it went Overlord hunting, but it's found nothing so far. Now it's just idling outside the base. Honestly, if he would send that into Scout, kind of like an Overlord, he'd see the Spire and perhaps be in a better spot, but Hellions may get that job done if they decide to chase the Queens too far. No, there's too many links. No way he's going to engage into that. Yeah, Bailing speed on the way as well. We got the Carapace upgrades. I mean, unless Hart suddenly gets a bunch of Widow Mines on the field, it's not going to be fun contending with what Life is going to throw at him.
I really like this move by Life here to just delay this third base a little bit longer. Here's going to move in a couple more links here. The Banshee's going to clean that up. Anything you can do to just slightly get ahead in the game, obviously something you want to take advantage of. Life even getting a Ling into the natural undetected. Oh, just got detected.
Meanwhile, we got the Medevac unloaded, pushing forward.
Ooh.
We don't have combat shields yet, but Stim is finished.
It's like those Hellions just sacrificed them for the Marines to run in here. 3 Queens, really vulnerable.
No, maybe not that vulnerable. That was some great transfusing indeed.
They even take down a Medevac in the process there.
You know, I want to point out though, Life is as great of a player as he is right now. I really feel like his creep spread's lacking a little bit. I mean, I know Hart's been doing a great job of keeping it down, but with this many extra Queens on the field dedicated to like the middle of the map, I'm surprised we don't already have creep spread way over halfway.
That was the case on Neoplanet S about 13 minutes into the game last time. Had about 3/4 of the map covered, but
Yeah.
You're right. It is a little bit less this game, but he is trying to move it forward here, pressing forward with his active creep timbers. Back at home here for Hart, though, he's doing a good job of keeping his upgrades going. I think he's recognized that he may be a deficit, but big engagement going down here. The Mutas may be able to pick off these Medevacs. No, they just boost away.
And here's the Biomine composition that everyone is so familiar with. And, you know, a lot of this comes down to, too, like, how does Hart spread his Widow Mines? Like, that is so critical in this matchup. Like, you see someone panically clump them, and you know they're going to get destroyed. But if you spread them out, and he's actually spread them out quite nicely, you can retreat over top of them and use them a lot more effectively. Quick cancel on that base, too.
Yeah, he's not messing up the cancels this time. But even just losing that base is rough for him. He really needs to be able to secure his fourth. That's very important at this point. He does have a nice upgrade window. His 2-2 is going to be... Well, he's waiting on the melee, but his 2-2 is still going to be done quite a bit before Hearts. So he can trade pretty well here. And he is pumping out a lot of Mutas, so that's going to be very good for dealing with Biomine.
It's so... Once Mutalists get over that 20 count, like, it's so hard to deal with them unless they make a mistake, so... man, Lane's gonna flood in here, catch a lot of the Widow Mines before they even burrow. Bailey's gonna follow suit, gets picked off by Banshee, but man, the Mutalist still stands strong.
huge Widowmine hit went down on the Lings on the ground, but it looks like Life just simply has too much army supply here.
Oh, the bunker's empty. Oh no. Bunker's gonna go down so quick. Ling's just gonna flood on in, and there's actually not a lot to defend these SCVs.
I think a lot of the army supply, I don't even know where it is right now.
Well, it was in those medevacs that just dropped in the middle of the map.
In the meantime, they're actually fighting between Life's natural and third. Life had a lot of banelings there, and Heart was trying to push in there as well. But it looks like Life cleaned it up pretty well. So that was a big fight all over the map.
Yeah, everything seemed to be split up here, but Life seems to be pulling everything back together here. 26 banelings in production.
Oh, God. You know, banelings,
with speed.
They're definitely fearsome, but again, it comes down to the fact that once they do the damage they do, you don't have them to continue forward with. So you gotta trade as effectively as you can with them. You can't afford to lose 20 to a Widowmine.
This isn't a huge army out here for Heart, and
taking those big hits. Still clears out the Widowmines though, so you can continue pushing forward. Marines stimming for their lives, recognizing, wow, that's a lot of banelings.
He's going to focus down the medevacs one by one. Is Life. That's a great move for him in this situation. Just reduce that medevac count, make the Terran army less cost efficient than it actually is.
And the upgrade advantage working out really nicely here. 2-2 over the 1-1 of Heart, but actually 1-2 now of Heart. Sorry, my bad. 2-2 is about to finish up, but not until everything's already dead.
Heart did a really good job of stutter stepping, and great positioning by him. So he actually cleaned up all those banes before they could take out the Marines. And now it kind of, I'd say Life's in a good spot, but he's still really only on 3 base. He has a 4th, but it's not saturated at all. 75 workers, which is definitely very good, but Heart is still sitting pretty on 3 bases. History 3 started. Life doesn't have a hive. So really, Life needs to be doing something right now. He really needs to work on pressing that economical advantage, or he needs to find a really good trade before.
Well, I think
he's have 3-3.
I think he's about to find a giant, not a trade, but a hole, as there's no wall up here, and all these Lings are just going to get right into the base. Mutual support on top of this. There's not a lot of Widowmines, and the production is going to get camped, and if the production is camped, there's no way for Heart to shut down this army.
Heart stimming back. He realizes the urgency of this situation. We could see a lot of SCVs go down, but actually Life's going to go in the main base with his banelings here. I'm not sure if he's going to use these to attack the army. He's going to just go for the mineral line.
He's going to go for the mineral line. These SCVs are as good as dead. Lifts the command center. But man, the Mutalisks are going to be so hard to clean up. Actually, the Marine's going to stim in here, but of course the mobility of the Mutalisks, they might be able to maneuver around them, focusing down.
There's Lings in the 3rd.
Oh wow,
Lings in the 3rd too.
Yeah, and a single baneling, but it's going to be enough to just make those SCVs one-hittable. And the Mutalisks, most of the Mutalisks actually, about half of them go down, but he's still got enough on the field to be a big threat.
And he dropped the command center in the main base, about to drop the command center at the 3rd
and a drop,
as well.
A drop at the 4th of Life. I mean, this is all over the map. There's not 1, not 2, but 5 fights going on at any given time in this matchup.
Oh, and the command center at the 3rd base just going to get saved. Oh, skin of its teeth there.
I think it's going to be burning when it completes, though. It's already super low. Like, you did a bad job building that if you completed it and it immediately catches fire.
Fire those architects.
But Ling's still in the main, not entirely cleaned up. Oh, man. Middle of the map still has a lot of contestation going on in my mouse. Don't die on me now. There we go.
Those Marines are red.
Oh,
they are heart red.
And there's only... Well, actually, now there's 4 medevacs, but of course 2 of them are incredibly low.
It's interesting, the structure of the map here split Life's army up into two locations, and if he had gotten those banelings alone, that could have been a great victory there for Heart, but Life's going to get his army all back together now, and this is looking fearsome here, especially considering the unit counting station here. 101 army supply to 96. Heart is somehow in the lead.
I gotta point out, like, I really love that with the Mutalisks, he's not chasing the Marines down, he's not taking needless fights, but he's focusing down the medevacs in every one of these engagements, and 4 medevacs that are all out of energy couldn't even heal up that entire cherry-picked army of Heart.
Yeah, that's going to be a crucial factor in the next upcoming engagements, is the severe lack of energy on those medevacs, so...
another thing to note is Heart's 3-3 is now done. It just finished, so the next fight, that's definitely going to be a huge factor. Heart's units are still very low, though.
The Lings have got to spread, though. At the last second, some nice spreading prevents the damage from being much worse than it could have been.
Oh, and a flank from both sides here. Life's
the Banelings! They clean up everything! And Heart, while he may have had a lead at one point, no longer does. Can he produce enough? 32 more Lings are on the way for her life, and Heart is going to be so hard-pressed to hold this off.
Yeah, supplies now 112 for Heart, 189 for StarTale's Life. He's now adding on the infestation pick and transition into Hive a little bit later in the game than you would expect it, but he's made this his Lair Tech army very, very effective at holding the Terran player at bay and really never letting him get past the halfway point of the map.
Well, we may finally see the transition in the high. We have the infestation pit on the way, but he might not even need it. I mean, again, there's no wall off. There's no way to really stop this. Lynx could just flood straight into the main. There's so many banelings associated with this army, too.
So many banelings.
There's one baneling for every marine. They've each got their name on them.
Going for that third base, going to try to shut down the economy completely. Going to pincher off the main army of Hart here. Looking like his days in this game are numbered unless he's able to pull off a miracle.
He is attacking the natural right now. Life doesn't have very much to defend it. He is morphing some banelings at his fourth, probably to hold this off, but this is pretty nice by Hart. The problem is he's losing everything else, so this is really all he's got at this point.
It's a base trade that's very one-sided. Now, lots of Zerglings did just hatch. They're kind of sitting between the natural and the third. If he turns this all into banelings, actually, oh, forget that. He's got so many more banelings rolling in. Forget making new ones.
Ooh, here we go.
Look at
Big
that
split
spread,
from
though, out of Hart. Good game is called, though, and Life will even up the series 1-1.